I'm broke the boss, I flip the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation make me live the dream.
That's not a conversation. Like, I should be able to say something like, look, man, freaking tomorrow we're going to be in Atlanta. That's number one. Number two, it's a hell of a lot better than freaking Florida. That's number, two. Whatever else the case may be, based on the market trends and what's going on, maybe I would rather have you in Atlanta than Macon, or whatever that situation dictates. We having a reasonable conversation between two adults, and that means that I'm offering you not just a load, I'm offering you a plan.
Is your dispatcher costing you money? Here are the signs that you have to check for to make sure you're not in that situation.
All right, average rate per mile versus company average. I don't know. I think that's an all right measurement. However, I've seen both. Sometimes your worst dispatcher and worst performing truck is gonna have highest rate per mile.
Yeah, because you're doing all of them short little miles to like.
Yeah, without even understanding that this is actually losing you money instead of making you money, and it feels counterintuitive. And if you do not have a big picture, you're gonna be lost.
But often when you get there at the end of the week and that settlement comes through, then it's like amnesia to how you got there. Or maybe just don't. Yeah. Weren't forward thinking,
No, I agree. I think also, like, I've seen a lot of owner operators that like he's been running all week for this great rate per mile, and the settlement comes in and he just can't wrap his head around what happened, and obviously company is bad then.
Yeah, because you'll see that man like that rate per mile, king of the hill. When then it's he gets that check, king of nowhere.
Yeah. So the bottom line is this: I would say don't for all of you that still screaming into the screen that didn't click away yet. We are not saying that running cheap rate is a good idea. It's not a good idea. However, there is a common sense. So if if you're running $10 a mile, there is going to be very, very few miles that you're going to run like this. And at the end of the week, let's say even at the $10 a mile, you're running now 25 miles a day. Your week is going to look terrible. There is going to be no money there. It's not going to even cover one fill up of diesel. But that's just we're talking about extremes here, not about this is not a suggestion to take no cheap freight. Now, weak negotiation patterns. You probably, as an owner operator, you probably don't quite see it. Because you do not see your dispatcher negotiating, right? For the most part, you're in the truck, the dispatcher is in the office, and
that's true. But I mean, you can pick up on some hints. I believe, like if you're always going to the same areas with the same exact brokers, now you're going to pick up on a pattern.
Yeah. So every time, at least in my experience, if we see the dispatcher all of a sudden, like having this awesome relationship with this one brokerage across the board, that usually is a hint. And sometimes once we check, I'm not saying, relationships can be real. However, there is no way that this one broker can take care of every single truck of yours in every area you have trucks. And usually that's just a pattern on, somebody who got bullshitted into thinking that this broker is your friend. And so as we always say, broker is not your friend. No, broker is business partner at best.
So now the dispatcher got negotiated.
Yeah. Your dispatcher actually got scooped up, and he's working hard for that little evil fat broker
and dragging you along with him. So there you go, guys.
You know those memes like on the internet of bald fat guy with a cigar and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a broker. All right, excessive empty miles. Well, again, I say it depends. Sometimes once we go through a whole list, usually the bad dispatcher is gonna hit quite a few of those points.
Yeah.
As a standalone thing, me personally, I was notorious on the deadhead miles because, like, I do not believe in deadhead. I do not believe in empty miles. I believe in miles paid well, loaded or empty. I don't care, as long as all miles are paid. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and I think I've seen this a lot more when those guys are doing power only, and now you got to drop your trailer there, but you got to go way over there to pick up something different, and you're kind of restricted because of that.
But usually that goes with a customer freight. Customer freight, mega carriers, that type of stuff. In our end of the woods, that is not what's happening.
Yeah. So.
All right, what's next?
What
doesn't pre-book next load?
Yeah, that's a major sign right there. You need this guy, unless it's those very specific game plan that he has for this week because of their area he's going to, or and it's better to get that load in that morning. You'll be better off, maybe. But other than that, I think you should be getting pre-booked.
I would say this: if you're getting a shitty load and it was not pre-booked, and that happens all the time, you have a dispatch problem. If you're getting, if it's not pre-booked and then it's a killer load, then that usually means your dispatcher knows what he's doing. However, there is a huge risk. So if you're always shooting for that top paying load and you never pre-booked, and you will get that really good load once in a while, but for the most part you just get like bullshit loads. That's over selective dispatcher that so over himself that he thinks that he's gonna get you this killer load every single time, but he doesn't have a capacity to deliver, nor he doesn't understand the market, trends, none of that shit, and now he puts you in a bad situation. Bottom line is this: some of the freight needs to be pre-booked, depends on the areas, depends on the situation. Other freight is best not to be pre-booked. So if you are in a very, very hot area, of course, don't pre-book that, because you're gonna be able to get that top dollar at the last minute. However, if the name of a game is always shooting for this last minute top load, especially in the crappy market, and if your dispatcher is unable to read the market and tell you what time it is, and select the best strategy for you and your truck, you have a dispatch problem. If you're the guy pushing for the last minute all the time and not accepting lows, then you have problem.
Yeah, or if you're not getting pre-booked because you can't show up on time, then that's a different story.
Then it's totally not your fault, because nothing is.
Here we go. Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863-342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171. All right, so avoids tough conversations. And again, you're not privy to what conversations he's having or avoiding with brokers, but you can tell by how you talk to the guy, right? So pay attention. Some simple things, like Mike just said before. If he's not telling you, hey man, we shouldn't be going to this area that you're suggesting because the rates are low and it's a little bit of resistance. If he can't do that and everything is a yes sir, then you got to know that that's his pattern with brokers as well.
Yeah. So I would say if the best way to check on it, if on average day here in sunny Florida, you are asking your dispatcher to get you $2 a mile load coming out of Florida. I'm not talking about seasonal demands. I'm talking on the average day here in Florida. $2 a mile coming out of Florida, and your dispatcher just says, all right.
I didn't know where you were going with this. So.
you have a shitty dispatcher, because your dispatcher should be telling you, yo man, how long you been in this? Stop fucking around. Let's go. I can get you a load out of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama. How about this? Shut the fuck up for now. Let me get you a load that's gonna land you tomorrow in a good place at a good time, and that's when we're gonna hit. For now, for this one coming out of Florida, work with me, bro. Shut the fuck up. That's all. you have a good dispatcher if he says that. If your dispatcher just says, yes, let me see what I can do, and and you hear him freaking crying before he hangs up, you have a shitty dispatcher.
There we go. Can't say no to brokers. Oh man,
That's actually the same dispatcher that just hang up crying.
Yeah, pretty much. Just can't say no to anybody. So.
Yeah, because like we've seen some dispatchers coming through. Usually these guys, we don't last here because it's a tough man's business. But we've seen some dispatchers who actually think we are really, really somehow good. But then we have these couple of brokers that we think we have a relationship with. And that's actually not a relationship, that's a situationship. And that actually, it's not that dispatcher has a broker. It's actually the broker has a dispatcher that fucking works for that broker for peanuts. And that's the name of a game. And now that dispatcher thinks that he has some sort of relationship of some value.
Because I think, man, like one of the biggest things is who's ever in that situation has to understand one major thing. Where does food come from? Pull the settlement. How much money is being taken home? And then you're going to know if that guy's even worth your time or not. Because that's at the end of the day, it's about pushing and putting that revenue on that truck. That's what the job of a dispatcher is going to be is. But I think, like all those guys that come from TQL and all of that, playing office and they think it's about talking and relationship and fucking beer bong in the corner of the office and shit like that. Like, man, it's about putting money on this truck.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree. That's again the same dispatcher. We're talking about one dispatcher. I know his name, man. I know his name. More focused on being liked than being effective. Man, it's awesome to have a cool dispatcher that you get along and everything else. But if that sentence is accurate, you have a problem. So
yeah, because at the end of the day, that behavior right there is the guy is he's hiding behind kindness. Like that's all that is. You need a guy that can hit.
And the guy that can hit, here's how I see it. Like, for example, any owner operator like joining Voyager, right? I see it as a partnership, and I see, I know you guys think that you're paying for nothing. I get it. However, you're paying for service. You're paying for service. You're paying for our dispatchers to guide you through this, to tell you what to do, what not to do. At the end of the day, yeah, you can make that decision. You can say, shut the fuck up, send me to the end of the world, and forget about me. Okay, I'll do that. I'm just gonna tell you that this is the last load and booking.
Yeah, because because at the end of the day, here you're gonna have the soldiers that are absolutely it's what they're doing when you're not looking, right? Because this weak ass dispatcher that we're talking about here, it's very easy to play the game once you're calling him and you're looking and you're aware, right? But what about when you're not looking and you're just busy running your business and driving and doing everything you have to do? Is he posting your truck? Is he already running different scenarios on the pre-book and calculating with your home time? And maybe we shouldn't just running different scenarios to run by you. That's where.
Yeah. So I would say again, if the easiest way is just this, like every time your dispatcher is offering the load and you're pushing back, if he has nothing to tell you, if he doesn't hold any freaking conversation like, hey man, no, I disagree, this is why I think this load is good, this is the plan, this is how we're gonna make it, this is what's up, now you have a good dispatcher. If every time you push back and the dispatcher is just like, okay, let me see what I can do, man, I know it sounds cute,
but you know where that gets you? That gets you to when the check looks like shit and he's the only defense is, I just did what you told me to do. We just did, but I did what you told me to do. And then there you are in that nasty position.
I agree. And so don't be in that position if, I'm not saying agree to everything your dispatcher offers you. You gotta, keep them in check. However, it has to be like a normal conversation, if we would be talking about something that we both know very well and, we have different opinions, let's say, Honda versus Toyota or some shit like this, right? Mm-hmm. And now we would have a conversation. You probably would have a lot of good shit to say about Honda. I would probably have a lot of shit to say about Toyota. And now we have this sort of argument, sort of conversation, which is better, right?
Yeah.
But that's natural. That's natural because I would bring my points, you would bring your points, and that's just a good, solid conversation. Looking for potential listener or for one of us to select the next car, maybe. So that's the same thing with owner operator, with dispatcher and the load. It has to make sense. If nobody makes sense and just, like, I don't know who's expecting what, at the end of the day, if I'm offering you a load, I'm not just gonna be like, yo, Christian, I got you this load Lakeland to Atlanta, and you're like, why? It's a load. That's not a conversation. Like, I should be able to say something like, look, man, freaking tomorrow we're gonna be in Atlanta. That's number one. Number two, it's a hell of a lot better than freaking Florida. That's number, two. Whatever else the case may be, based on the market trends and what's going on, maybe I would rather have you in Atlanta than Macon, or whatever that situation dictates. We having a reasonable conversation between two adults, and that means that I'm offering you not just a load, I'm offering you a plan, and that's the difference.
Yeah, because that leads to the next one. The dispatcher cannot be afraid to push you to run, because at the end of the day, just like you're offering me those loads, I can become complacent. Anybody can become complacent. So you need that guy to force you out that box. Otherwise, you think you have the best idea, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and sometimes, look, it's both ways. Sometimes dispatcher has to push owner operator. Sometimes owner operator has to push the dispatcher, because I've seen dispatchers too getting complacent. You have this awesome owner operator, the dude that you can hit every single week, the dude that never says no. You give him a load, he gets it done. He's never arguing, because there is a trust level between the owner operator and dispatcher, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty much dispatcher is able to book him a load without calling him. That's a deal. However, if you never push back, and let's say that dispatcher has a few squeaking wheels on his fleet, at what point he is so busy with these couple of squeaking wheels that he is neglecting you, and now he's just handing you whatever because you are accepting everything. So you gotta keep your dispatcher in check. However, just like it both ways. It can be overkill both ways, and it could be very beneficial both ways. So checks and balances, here and there, ask tough questions, demand tough answers.
Yeah, because to your point right there, so it's going to be the consistency, and again, you can take a look at it. So maybe your guy is running you in different markets week over week just because he's chasing the money, right?
Yeah.
But at least your truck is running. You're consistent with that Monday load out of Florida. No matter what, it doesn't matter where it's going, because he already has a plan. And then your financing, you have consistency in that net take home, and then that's a good way to check that you're not just getting low hanging fruit to buy time to pay attention to guys who are looking for what doesn't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863-342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171. No vision for the week. Man, that's the worst, man. Those dispatchers that just chase shiny gold, not everything that shines is gold in this business. And if all he's doing is looking for the magical, $3 a mile, and it doesn't matter where it's going or what time, and now you got a bunch of nothing for that week. So
I would say this one applies for both the owner operator and the dispatcher. Always ask yourself a question. So for example, if your goal is to hit $7,000 this week, right? And Monday morning, again, freight out of Florida, nothing to brag about. We all know that. And now, somehow you in your feelings that you should get $2 a mile coming out of Florida on Monday. And then, your weak dispatcher is offering you a couple of loads that obviously is not $2 a mile. And now you're saying, well, fuck it, let's see, maybe the market is going to be better tomorrow. Well, a couple of things. Number one, it's not going to be that much better tomorrow. That's a fact. Number two, who is asking the question? If our goal is $7,000 and we already burning through Monday,
not gonna happen.
at what point we're gonna start getting closer to that $7,000? Like Tuesday? When are we coming back?
Nah.
And it just I think this is the most underlooked point because as a matter of fact, I think you guys try it out. Let us know in the comment section how that goes. I think the most effective thing is at the end of your previous week. Let's say you're getting a last load of the week, Charlotte to Lakeland, right? You picked up a load. You're going to Lakeland. Give that dispatcher a call and be like, all right, man, so this week we can already know what we made, right? Because it's a final load, so we know what numbers we're going to be looking at. Next week, let's hit 7K. Are you down? Down, cool. Let's get it done. And now it becomes mutual project. Now both of you guys, you both know the target. For the most part, man, number one, that's gonna help you to keep your dispatcher in check. That you're gonna force your dispatcher to have a plan.
Yeah, because you can even take it just half a step a little bit further and do the gut check on a Wednesday, because but you should be pre-booked, and on that Wednesday you should be at the halfway mark.
Yeah, and again, both of you, the owner operator and the dispatcher, have a lot to do with that. So do the gut check on Wednesday, but make sure you got out on Monday. Because if you didn't get out until Tuesday noon, and now on Wednesday you got checking your dispatcher.
No, yeah, but it's.
So the bottom line, I think it's partnership. So make the goals known, discuss the goals with your key partner in this, which is a dispatcher, and make plans how you guys gonna achieve it, and keep each other accountable for your own bullshit.
Yeah, here we go. But that's why I say that Wednesday's a good check, because like you said, if you left Tuesday and on Wednesday you're like doing your check and you're like, get the fuck out of here, man. What do we?
Yeah, but the only problem with that's actually good to reflect. However, sometimes it can be already too late to still meet the goal. So I would say whatever checks you need to do them early enough to still meet the goal. So if if you're doing a gut check Wednesday PM and you only $1,200 in and your goal was $7,000, you are not doing well.
Not at all. All right, so now that we covered all the topics and you've decided that you want to run with one of our dispatchers, here we go. What to say when you fire your dispatcher?
Fuck you, bitch.
Bye.
Bye, you weak piece of shit. No, but seriously, no. Say goodbye. No. How about this? Right, bitch. See you later. I'm going to Voyager.
There you go.
Now we're talking. All right, guys. If you're seriously going in to Voyager to make some real money, give us a call. 863-342-5171. Keep your dispatcher in check. I don't know what your management does here. We do keep our dispatchers in check, and we always appreciate owner-operators keeping dispatchers in check as well. And the other way around, we will keep you in check to make sure we discuss the $7,000 goal as early in the week as possible to make sure it can still be done. Because, if you're $1,200, I said, what, Wednesday? What if it's Friday? All right, guys, take care.
Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863-342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171.